Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is B.fleye Beauty, and today I wanted to just do a very quick look for when it's very hot and steamy and humid out, and when you want to look put together but maybe you don't have a lot of time, maybe you need something quick, you want to look decent but you're not doing anything fancy, you know what I mean? I highly recommend that you just go with the weather. So if it's super hot and humid, do not try and dry out your skin, do not try and bake and powder and keep the oil away. I think the best thing is to just embrace the oil that's going to happen and just let your skin do its thing, if that makes sense. Honestly, that's the easiest way to go forward. So the first thing I do is I take in, depending on the day, depending on my skin that day, I will mix together or use some sort of tinted moisturizer, tinted SPF. So today I'm going to mix my Cerave Hydrating Mineral Sunscreen SPF 30 Sheer Face Tint. I really love this. I love it for all skin types. If you're oily, is this going to dry you out and make you beautiful and powdery and like oil-free? No, it's not. It's really, again, just embracing what the weather is doing. Then you're not having to touch up throughout the day as much because you already know you're gonna be oily, if that makes sense. If you really do want to powder, I'll show you the little places that I will powder, and it's mostly around my eyes and like near my nose. So I do a tiny bit of this one, and then I'm going to mix in, which I still have not looked to see if this is a new formula or not. It definitely feels a little bit more liquidy, but I have not done my due diligence yet. But this is the Sun Bum Daily Glow. It's SPF 30, water resistant, 24-hour moisture, and it's got a little bit of a glow. So it's a tinted SPF with a little bit of a glow. The Cerave one does not have a glow, so I'm mixing them together. This one definitely needs to be shaken up a little bit. And I'm doing one pump of each. And then the Cerave one is quite thick when it comes out, but it shears out really nicely. So they're just different. And I wanted a little bit of a glow. Like I said, I am just gonna embrace the oil, embrace the shine. And then if I was having like a really bad outbreak steakhouse, if I was having a major outbreak of acne, or I was hormonal, or maybe I had, you know, just some weird thing on my face, I would most likely take my traditional concealer and do a little spot conceal. But I do feel like my skin is mostly clear, other than the traditional redness. Like, I tend to put concealer around my nose, especially when I'm going somewhere where I need to look very put together, because I have some broken blood vessel-y things, and that's never gonna go away. So that is where I like to conceal, but I'm not gonna use any of that concealer today. What I am going to use, and this is beautiful, and I had the medium and I liked it, but okay, anyway, I had to delete some stuff off the camera. So I really love this. It's Dermatology medical grade skincare. We've talked about that. There is no such thing as medical grade skincare. Luminous Eye Corrector SPF 41. So I had the medium one, and that's the one I bought last year, and it worked well when I got super tan. But I don't know, the fair works fine, but I'm probably in between, and I gave the medium away. But why I like this is it has a cold, like a metal application situation that really feels so nice on no makeup days, when you're just kind of getting some of the swelling out from underneath the eye in the mornings. It's really nice. So I use one pump of this, and it's enough for both eyes. But because it is a little bit too light, I like putting it on top or underneath what I've already done here, because this is more my skin tone, and so it makes this not as harsh, because I've kind of come away from wearing a more bright under eye. I have more of a match the skin tone under eye. So it depends on what you're looking for. But it's supposed to be like a no makeup makeup, a very thin, it's not a concealer. So I'm gonna, you know, if you have something that's maybe not the right color, it should still work is what I'm trying to say. So I'm gonna put a little bit out. You can see that it is quite light, but I thought the medium was too dark. So we're gonna go with the light version and then just mix it in with whatever's already on my skin. You can see like how bright that is. Like I just don't wear my stuff like that anymore. But it's got the SPF in it, so it protects the eyelid. You know, we get wrinkles there, guys. We get wrinkles there. So I'm gonna do this mostly with my finger, and then I'll use a brush to just make sure it's blended in with the tinted SPF that I have underneath. Again, it is very bright, you can see there. So depending on your skin color, you can just play around with the order of things, but I just like, basically what I like about this formula is that it's so lightweight and blendable that it's not like a traditional concealer, and it's really more about brightening and giving you sun protection. So I think that looks really nice. Like I said, I am going to powder just around the eye and around the nose. I would use something very lightweight here. If you're a super dry person, you probably don't even need to set this. I just do because I am so oily. Again, I don't want an oily look. This is more just to keep from like my mascara going everywhere on a very hot, humid day. So this is not about super full coverage. This is about just looking decent. Depending on the day and how hot it is, sometimes I'll just do a cream, and that's what I'm going to do today. But you could also use a powder blush on top of this, a powder bronzer, whatever you want to do. Again, this is like the fastest version, so I'm not doing bronzer, highlighter, blush, lip liner. I'm not doing all that. I'm really truly just doing the very, very minimum to get out of the house. So I'm going to use a bright creamy putty blush because it's a creamy formula that blends well with everything else on my face, but it's not so liquidy that it will come off very quickly. Putties tend to stay way better on my skin than other formulas when it comes to products that are not powdery. Because obviously powder stays the best on me because I'm an oily person. So I'm just going to take a cream blush brush and tap this on. It's gonna look real crazy per the usual, and then we'll blend it out with a different brush. If I was not talking, this would take me 5 minutes. So I do a little bit over the nose because we already know it's hot, sunny, humid, toasty, whatever you want to use. So I'm going to put that base on. I'm going to take that, rub it on my lips so I have a little bit of a matching look, and then you can put gloss or lip balm on top. But again, we're looking for the fastest, most efficient way to get the crap out of the house. So I'm going to take another, like more of a foundation brush, and I'm going to tap and press over that to make it a little bit less cray cray. And it's still gonna be bright, but I also wear glasses, and just do, you know, whatever you want on the blush bronzer side. If you're a big blush person like me, go for it. If you're not, you can do something a little bit more subtle. But I do like the trick of putting whatever's on your cheeks just directly onto your lips to make it easy and efficient. All right, then I'm going to spray a setting spray. I've been using the Carpe Instant Matte Setting Mist. I've talked about this. It doesn't really mattify, but it does help things to stay on and to stay put throughout the day, even for me. And then I take a fan and dry it off really quickly, and then we're gonna do some mascara, and then we're gonna be done. I don't do my eyebrows in this situation because I'm wiping my face all day from the sweat, and I'm just gonna wipe my eyebrows off. So I do not need to do that. If you have something you know will stay and you have to do your brows, go for it. I'm gonna do a little bit of a gloss. Like I said, I'm gonna do a gloss or a chapstick on top. And then my favorite mascara for these kind of days, and really all the days now, is a tubing mascara, and E.L.F. has one. It's my favorite. It is a dupe for the Cerave mascara, and this is the E.L.F. Lash Extender. And this is gonna be my last step, guys. But you're gonna look beautiful, you're gonna be put together, you're gonna be able to just maybe even out some redness, brighten the under eye a little bit to look a little bit awake. And if you don't have under eye circles, or you don't have something like the Dermatology, you could use a little bit of concealer too. I'm just trying to do the lightest, you know, I'm trying to do the least and still look good. But you can always do concealer or just more of the tinted SPF that you used. Just make sure that you're always doing the SPF. And a hack that I say all the time, if you get mascara anywhere, which I tend to almost daily, you just let it dry. And then once it's completely dry, you can just flick it away with a Q-tip, a clean spoolie, a clean makeup brush. It'll just pop right off. Now, if you really feel like you cannot handle this oil, this is what I will do while my mascara dries so that I can clean around, is I dip in, and this is with a very fluffy eyeshadow brush. There's barely anything on that, and I'm just gonna go into those spots that tend to get super duper oily. And I don't even really dip back in. I just buff where I might be just super oily still. But we're not getting a powder, we're setting, we're not doing any sort of baking, and we're still getting quite a bit of shine, because the more powder you add to a very oily face or a very oily day, it can just make you look more cakey and more gross. So we let this dry, and then we wipe away any concealer, mascara, etc. And that's it. That is it. Maybe put on your little perfumes. Make sure you put sunscreen everywhere. And I am in the middle of doing a skincare series. No matter what, you really do need to be wearing SPF daily. Even if you're working from home, even if you're black skin, that's like the most dark and beautiful thing ever. You can still have skin damage. Just because you don't burn doesn't mean that you are not getting any sort of damage to your skin. So it also helps aging and wrinkles and all that stuff. So please wear your SPF. Let's clean these glasses, guys. Please let me know if you have any recommendations for your favorite tinted SPF. I love trying new ones. That's one thing I am on the hunt to try this year, even though I know I have not been wearing a ton of makeup and doing a lot of makeup videos, but we are back at it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.